So instead of typing you a really long email to show you how to do this, I decided to use a screen recording. So hopefully this will help better. To create a spring in 3D, the first thing that you'll want to do is create a helix. You can find your helix under the draw pull down. Now currently I'm using 2010. I don't know if you're using 2009 at home or not, but if you push the big A, you can type helix in and it will tell you where it is. So I am going to draw and click helix. Now if you look down at your command line, it tells you the number of turns, your twist, and it's asking you to specify a center point of your base. Just leave your number of turns alone for right now. We can change that later. To pick your center point, I'm just going to pick anywhere. It asks for your base radius. I don't know what that is for you. You're going to have to measure your clothespin spring and figure that out, so I'm just going to kind of wing it here and create somewhat of a small radius. For the specifying the top radius, it will actually give you a default value. If you look down here in the command line area, it's giving me a 3.03. I'm going to just hit enter, because if you try to mess with that too much, you're going to get an off-the-wall figure or a spring that tapers up at the top. So I've left that alone, and now it's asking me for my helix height. Again, you're going to have to measure your clothespin spring to figure that out. So I'm just going to move it up a little bit and click. Now the number of turns here isn't quite correct, so what you will need to do is double click it, and your properties box will come up over here. Turns is halfway down through geometry. Right now it's 3. You can turn it to whatever, however many curves or turns there are. So I put in 9 and now I have a whole lot of turns. You can put in 5, you can put in 6, and it's just going to change your helix right there. So right now we've created our 3D but not solid model helix. To turn this into an actual 3D spring, we're going to use a sweep, but to do that we have to give it a width of the spring. So we would want to go to draw a circle and select one of the beginning of your helix paths as the center point for your circle. This is going to ask you for the diameter of your spring. Essentially that's fairly small, so I'm going to try to zoom in here and turn off my snap so that it's not going to give me that endpoint when I don't want it. Zoom in a little bit closer. I'm going to try to create a pretty small diameter there. You'll have actual numbers. I'm just showing you the concepts. Now the way our circle is right now, it's not on the correct axis. It's laying flat when we want to kind of flip it up 90 degrees. This is a concept that we talked about in class and that's in your tutorials, but in case you didn't catch it, it's going to be a 3D rotate. 3D rotate is in the modify ribbon, and it's right next to regular rotate. Regular rotate looks like this icon here. 3D rotate is the colorful one right next to it. So go ahead and click on that. And when you select the objects, it wants you to select the circle and right mouse click. Now you get this sort of spherical shape here that is specifying your X, Y, and Z axis. So if you look at the colors here, X is red, Y is green, Z is blue. Same thing applies over here as well. Now when I look at how I want to rotate my circle, I want to essentially flip it up so that the center point is still at the same spot, but that it is gauging the diameter of the spring. So I'm going to use my X-axis to do that. So when you move your mouse around and hover over the different axes for rotation, they will turn gold or a yellowish gold color. So we're going to click now that we're on the red one, and I'm going to tell it to rotate it 90 degrees and then escape out. And you can see now that our circle is now at the level that we want to represent the diameter of that spring. So I'm going to zoom back out just a tad. Once you have that, now you can perform a sweep with 2 simple steps. So you can go up to your Home tab, Sweep's already active for me, but if it's not for you, click the down arrow and you'll have extrude, loft, revolve, and then sweep. Pick sweep, and it's asking you to select objects to sweep. So we want to sweep our circle. And now it's asking if there, select more objects, and there aren't anymore, so we're going to right mouse click to get out of that command. And then it's asking us to select our sweep path. So select our helix. And there you go, does it on its own. Now this isn't exactly what spring you particularly need, but once you put in your diameters and your spring number of rotations and all your different things that you need, you'll get more of a spring that represents what you want. So then I know you also are going to have to create your brackets that wrap around, and those can be also created using sweep but without the helix. So give that a shot and let me know how it goes.